Welcome to the Color of Success podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Stephanie J. Wong. Today, I have a very special guest. It's Chi Muoi Lo, and he's known for his appearances as guest lead on numerous shows such as Nip Tuck, Melrose Place, CSI, NYPD Blue, Malcolm in the Middle, Smallville, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and many more. So basically a legend. Chi shifted from actor to renowned Hollywood manager, elevating the careers of clients such as Karen Molina White in Disney's I Didn't Do It, Steven Kruger in Roswell, New Mexico, Tyler Christopher, Days of Our Lives, and many more. Chi is the owner of the production company Blackhawk Entertainment and the CEO of the talent management company Edelman Management. Now he has taken his 30 years of experience in the entertainment industry and created a 7-episode online subscription series, Mastering the Business of Acting. Hearing thousands of stories of how young actors have been exploited in the entertainment industry, he felt that he needed to share his knowledge in a way that set him apart from other programs offering similar advice. Mastering the Business of Acting primarily focuses on those trying to break into the business. It also includes information necessary for the working actors and rising stars. Please welcome Chi Muoi Lo. Hi, Chi. Hi. Thank you for being on the show.
Hi, Stephanie. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And I wanted to jump right in because I was really excited when your management company reached out to me to have you on the show because, like I mentioned in the intro, you are a legend in that you've been working in show business for decades and there weren't many Asian Americans on TV. How have you been able to have this longevity in the business?
You know, my mom was not an educated woman. She had an incredible story, which I'm working on a TV series right now, 7 seasons, 13 episodes, inspired by a true story. And it's about her life, but it's a very interesting, it's like the Joy Luck Club meet This Is Us. It's called Life in Threes. Anyway, she never had an education, but she's street smart. Started working when she was 7. And so having that business sense is rare when you're an artist, especially actors. Some people has it, some people don't. I got it from her. So acting is my DNA. I have 12 brothers and sisters, and mom and dad let me do whatever I want because one loser out of 12, it's not bad. Yeah. They all went to traditional Asian fields. I was the only artist. I started with junior high school, drama clubs, repertory, singing club, and all that stuff. Then I went to Amy Summer Stock. Then I went to High School Performing Arts. Then I went to Governor School for the Arts. Then I went to Dr. Gloria's Children's Theater. Then I went to 1 year of Temple University, took all the acting classes they have in 1 year. And then I got a full scholarship to go to American Conservatory Theater in San Francisco.
Wow.
Went there, the youngest kid who ever gone there, the first Asian male that ever gone there, and got full scholarship there. Graduated on a Saturday, came down here on a Sunday. We had a strike, and I landed a movie while I was in school, which wasn't a great idea, but that it happened. So I started working immediately when the strike was over. 2 weeks, I started working. And in 9 months, I was able to stop working on a regular job, which is part-time, and acting took care of itself and some. I worked a lot for 4 years, and then I landed my own miniseries called Vanishing Son with Wong, playing my brother. I was
a big fan during that time, for sure.
Right, it was a big deal for Asians and all, Asian Latino. And, you know, we they made mistakes. And so it was a 5 year contract. And anyway, let's not go complain about the past here. So then what happened is I was always conscious about, because there was lack of representation.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I wouldn't have any competition by the time I'm ready to market myself. That's why I took the education so seriously. And I respect the craft, and I love the craft. I mean, oh my God, 13 to 17, I will watch 6 films a week.
Wow.
On TV, at nighttime, on weekends and all that. And I don't know how many movies is in my head. So it was I was very conscious about lack of representation and all that. So every role that I got, I sometimes outsmarted the director, producers in those early days, because you're the only Asian face, so, and you represented Asians and all, and I did not want to, embarrass myself or embarrass our people. So
That's a lot of pressure, though. Like, I know that you were really into the craft, and that's a lot of responsibility, though, to shoulder at a young age.
Well, here's the thing that I would say that I made mistake as an actor, and I talk a lot about it on Mastering the Business of Acting, and that's the masterbusinessofacting.com. Go to that website. I acknowledge a lot of mistakes. What happened is you're dealing with a kid. Okay, wherever I go when I was younger, I was the only Asian.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere, every acting place. I compete on talent shows. So I was always the only Asian who's in acting. But then I have so much skills because I study so much, more than anyone. Even in ACT was a master program. I didn't have I got in, I didn't have a bachelor, but most people do.
Mm-hmm.
I have more training than they did because high school performing arts, Temple University, that's all I care about was about acting. So here's the problem. You got a little kid who care about show business only and doesn't know anything about people skills. So I was an obnoxious, know that I'm very talented, know that I'm interesting to watch, but didn't realize I was still a little big when I'm looking at my old work now. But so I get away with murder. So what happens when I get the job, I change the interpretation of what they wrote. And then I would smart the director saying, you know what? Well, if we do this way, you can have a lot of agents be offended. And I don't think this is the right way to do it. I think, let me show you there's a better way. And I showed them the better way. And they back off. And sometimes, sometimes they insist you wouldn't on, I wouldn't give it. I wouldn't play that whatever. Every character I play have dignity, have self-respect, and never go to that, cliche.
Mm-hmm. That takes a lot of guts, though. And maybe at the time you weren't thinking about that, but a lot of Asian American actors get pushback for speaking out. And I know Simu is speaking out now about some of the things on Kim's Convenience that may not have sat very well with some of the actors. And so, I mean, what advice do you give actors now that are trying to make sure that their voice is heard to the producers when they clearly feel like it's not consistent with their values or how they grew up?
Use business smart, understand politics, understand how you can get what you want. Sometimes we actors are very powerful. Depends on where we are. Let's just say when I was in Vanishing Son, I didn't understand the politics. I didn't understand, because what happened is, believe it or not, a lot of people in big agency and all that, the agency have a reputation, but the people in it, most of them don't know what the hell they're doing. So I'm not kidding you.
I mean, that's a good perspective that people need to know.
Yeah, I mean, I remember this agency was a pretty good agency who was representing me for Vanishing Son. And, negotiation wasn't the way we wanted and all that. But there was one little thing I want, which is a car. At that time, Russell didn't get one. He didn't ask for one. But I wanted a car. I was not going to not have a car, have a driver drive me everywhere. It would be the 8 months. So I wanted a car. They couldn't get it. So they called me into the office. And this is what they shouldn't have done. If I had a manager then, if I have me then, I wouldn't let Chi do this. They put me on the phone and said, Chi, tell him that you want a car. They had me talk to the producer to get the car. So I'm just a kid. So I played this dumb thing. I said, I was so thrilled when I got the job. Now I don't know if I'm really, really excited about doing that. No, Chi, you got your car. You got a car, blah, blah, blah. Okay. That was a dumb move. I flex my muscle for what? For a car? That's the agent's job. That's the thing that, is a given. So it was one of those things, live and learn. Again, so to answer your question, be very smart. There was an interview with Connie Chung with Marlon Brando. And at that time, Dances with Wolves was making $100-something million. Mm-hmm. And I believe they're about to win the awards, or they won the awards and all that. And she interviewed him and asked him, why couldn't you get this thing made? You were the biggest of the biggest. And he said, I did, I tried. They would let me. No, the truth is, he had the power, but he did not respect the business or the craft of the people. So he couldn't get anything done. You see what I'm saying? So to answer your question, but whatever you think is best, have your team together and strategize. And they need to make you look good, meaning you cannot say things that will hurt you. It's your representatives that need to go and say what you need to be said. Now, when it comes to certain things that people need your voice, because a celebrity's on camera saying, hey, let's go and take our shot. It's more powerful than some politician or some, right?
Well, you have a platform that's very different, right?
Right, because people listen to you. People and all that. So it's a very simple way. You just got to be smart that know one thing. Relationship is the key to success in any business, and definitely in this business. Mm-hmm. So do not ever think that the agent is going to be loyal to you when they represent so many people. They're not. They're going to be loyal to the company who they works for, who's paying their paycheck. Now, the smart agent would know to be loyal to one or two clients, just in case he's in trouble, the clients can save his ass. You wanted to fire me? Okay, I'll take Meryl Streep with me. Meryl, you firing him? What? Get the fuck out of here.
I love that. Well, I mean, that's the thing, is what you're really talking about is surrounding yourself with good people. And I think that could be really difficult, because in any industry, you have to be and discern those qualities and that loyalty. And I think that's what makes it very, very hard for a lot of celebrities to trust people, because it can make or break some people.
Well, when you're an outsider, I was talking about this 2 days ago, and it's fascinating. I was analyzing the kid that I helped build, Steven Kruger. He's been with me for 10 years. Met him, he got nothing. Now he's going to be a really big player. He can now have 3 series regular on his belt. He's just finished Roswell, and now he's working on Yellow Jacket, and it's a big, big Showtime show. A 7-year contract, great role. Okay. I was talking about saying, let's just say that he go to a bigger agency. We want, maybe we should or what we shouldn't and all that. So let's just say he goes to CAA. Okay. Who do you trust? Who is still being the number one person that you would is the most valuable person to you? Who would you think it would be?
Well, actually, I might have a different spin. It's yourself. I mean, I would.
You can't. Of course, you always whatever and all. But every actor need to be smart enough to know your shortcoming and when you work with a manager for a long time, the manager needs to be your mommy. The agent is your daddy. I call mommy and daddy.
Okay.
So if so if you've been with someone for 10 years or 9 years or 5 years and you really get along with them and you trust them, no matter wherever you go, that one person cannot change. And they start with you even when they are smaller, but they were bigger than you, and they took you to this level. And by the time you get to this level, so are they. So the key thing is CAA doesn't really care about you. They care about the money. And the person who now you're bringing $2 million a year, everybody loves you. Everybody thinks that they discover you. Everybody's going to say yes to you. Who's going to say no to you? And that's the important part. And the only person who's got a guts to say no to you is probably somebody who dare to say it and know that they won't get fired.
That's real talk, really. And that's the pretty much parallel between good friends, right? Who's going to call you on your shit at the end of the day?
A manager and even an agent, if they discover you and they consider you, eventually you want to be friend and family, you can't put a price on it.
So, I really see the inspiration behind mastering the business in acting, because I think it sounds like you really want to get this knowledge out to more people. And so what can people expect from signing up for the class, taking the class? I mean, we got a sneak peek, but tell me more about the inspiration and the motivation to create this line of this new venture.
Stephanie, I've been barter for over 20 years when I decided to buy the management company. So there's one way that most actor can break into the business big time is there used to be like 9 Ivy League school in America. Juilliard, NYU, Yale, ACT, Temple University, and so on. And when they finish their education, these are very intensive acting school, they have a showcase for each Los Angeles and New York, and the power to be will always be there to find the next, newcomer, new blood, whatever. They can't, so it's a necessity. But here's the problem. Here's a serious problem. I bugged me for 20 years. Okay. Yale, NYU, Temple University, ACT. These are master programs. Carnegie is the undergraduate, which is good. Any undergraduates are right on. Okay, what's the problem? Well, when you go to a master program, most people are like, by the time they graduate, at 27, 29, or 31. Some even 35, okay? Your career is over before it begins. Okay? So here's the thing. My kid, Steven, is just turned 31, right? No, 32. Okay, but he looks like he's 28, okay? He has 26 credit, big credit, and then 3 series regular, okay, on his belt. You're gonna come in and you're 30 years old. You're gonna compete with him? How? You don't even have your SAG card or after card. How are you gonna compete with him? So that's the problem. And here's what I would suggest. we do not have to, no one has to need to get fired. Nobody have to lose a job or whatever. Get rid of the master program, put all the prestige of master program into your undergraduate, and face the fact that you cannot be greedy and trying to BS, because it is BS, teaching something that is not even workable, because most of these schools force the undergraduate to look up to the graduate program. So they spend 4 years there and want to go to the graduate program so they can get the connection. Well, by the time you do all that, you burn out. Mm-hmm. You know, USC is $280,000 for 4 years, and they don't teach you anything about the business, nothing. It's all about the craft. And Stephanie, you know why they only teach about the craft?
Tell me.
You cannot teach something you don't know. You know, because if you never been in the business, you tried it and you never land a job. You the last time you auditioned was 20 years ago, or you never dared to. You don't have your SAG card even. You don't even have a credit on IMDb even, and you are teaching people and charging them $40,000 a year. Are you kidding me? And what are you teaching? You teach what you know, which is what your teacher taught you. What did he teach you? Something he didn't know. On and on and on and on. You know, so there's so much in this thing that I talk about. It's 7 episodes, over 12 hours of all about the business, nothing but the craft. Okay, nothing but the craft. And for $199, I did not want to charge more than that because the kid doesn't have, they got screwed already. $199, and you get, that's half the price of a headshot. Okay, and you have to watch this like maybe once a week, 3 times a week, 20 minutes each one, 3 chapters, because it's so incisive and so in depth that you will miss it. You have to watch it again. So, and here's the subject I covered. These things the school does not cover because they can't. They don't know how. Stephanie, it's like death. We all know what death is, right? Think about this.
Yeah.
Even if I have a 15-year-old son, he know what death is. He saw it in movies, see it in TV, and he heard that his grandmom died. Okay, let's just say that, okay? But does he really know what death is? No, he doesn't. Not until you experience real death, meaning my mom died 3 years ago. That hit me really hard. And the fight that I have to fight all my family to give her dignity and all that, and to fight for her to die, the right to die. My God, and the grieving, the 5 stages, and so forth. And all. I now understand what death is more than ever before because I experienced it. Same thing with acting business. You cannot teach something you have never experienced. It's like giving birth as a woman. You never have a baby before. You're going to tell people, this is how you give birth. What? Hello?
Trust me, it's not a party, and just to comment on that piece, I think there's parallels here because as psychologists, one thing that I tell people is I wish that there was the PhD combined with an MBA because it's a whole different game and psychologists are not taught how to sell their services in terms of like pricing and how much should you charge because at the essence, we're trying to help people. And at the same time, if you're going into practice for yourself, there is that piece of having to represent yourself, having to put yourself out there when times have really changed. And, I do want to hear definitely about what you're offering because there's a lot of young content creators, and especially with the pandemic, right? There's a lot of Asians that have realized that there's not representation out there. I am going to do it myself. And so just understanding that piece of how can people also utilize your classes and content for these various forms of content creation and obviously on TV. So yeah, please let us know what's in the class and how that can be applied to these various platforms.
Look, it's like in any other field. I mean, colleges is becoming like a place for a corporation to make money. It's about making money. So somebody in every field need to, give. But the acting is the worst so far. I've seen the worst, but it's a lot of similarity, like the NFL football players and all that. It took a long while until recently, for the past 5 to 7 years, that African Americans group to realize that, oh my God, these players does not know how to invest their money because their career is so short. And then before they know it, the career is over and the money's gone.
Or even have health insurance after they retire.
Right. So people start changing that. So same thing what I'm doing here, because it's in most field like that. But mine just becomes so blatantly obnoxious because the industry, my industry, the entertainment industry, Hollywood, love keeping secrets. Secrets, information is power. So you want to keep secrets, and you'll find that you don't get anything out of anybody unless they get something in return. So a lot of people are selfish with it. Now the school wise, they can't find people to teach this kind of thing. And sometimes, I'm not a great teacher. I'm not at all. I'm a terrible teacher. I'm only able to teach. I only taught 3 times, but it's out of passion, a need to. There's a line I wrote in Life in Threes, and I said, sometimes you just don't want your knowledge to die with you, and I put this thing together. To be honest with you, if I got into an accident and I'm gone 6 months from now, I left something behind that could have forced the industry to change.
I'm going to knock on wood for you.
We're putting money into advertising, slowly building this thing. Once this thing's out, I don't know if you can go back. Because if you go to school and your mom going to help you with it and saying, hey, is this school teaching the business? Because you learn the craft, but by the time you go to the 3rd year, are they going to teach you about the business? Because if you don't know about the business, you're going to be out there and you can't get in 3 years. Your passion will be gone. Mm-hmm. So you wasted all your money. So this is some of the subject we cover. Over 50 questions, complicated questions that are answered honestly, bluntly, and thoroughly, all covered in every angle. I talk about personal finances, child actors, crying on cue, how important that is when you're auditioning. Audition is not a craft. It's more business. People think this is a craft. It's more business because what you do in audition is going to be very different when you shoot the same scene. The value of a good coach, $200 can be worth $100 million or $15 million if you land a job. Acting classes, how important that is to keep yourself sharp and all that. Resume, headshots, demo, marketing. Everybody's marketable. You're marketable. I mean, you're gorgeous. I can market you very easily. Everybody needs to find a niche so you can be marketable. How'd you get your union card? Now, hey, they give this pretense it's really tough to get the union card. But, you take this thing and I will show you steps way to get your union card before the union figured out, oh my God, she has give out the answer. We better lock that down. Get your union card. I have tapped 87 people in my career into the union. There's just so many ways to do it. The The ugly truth about agents and managers. Oh my God, episode 4 is the longest episode, 2 hours and 35 minutes. Everybody keeps saying, God, you're really angry. It's just so many stuff. You're so angry. Because there was just so many stupid things that people are doing as agents and managers. And anyway, it's fascinating episode. I'm just like, wow, I look like I'm a disgusted old man.
Well, I think there's a cathartic piece to it though, right? Of sharing all these things that have happened and just to let people know that it is really, really tough. And I'm sure so many people have felt the same way or feel the same way going through the industry.
No. There's more subject to cover. The next, when we move every year, we do 7 more segments, and I do Q&A, 3-hour Q&A, and then we put it on tape and let them have it for every year. So it gets deeper and deeper and tough and beyond. This is essential that you have to have, okay? And it covers everything. So the next thing is called self-tapes, how to make a good self-tapes. Now, this year is all self-tape, okay? People did not know how to adjust. Reality about casting and casting directors, pitching, written pitch, oral pitch, how valuable that is. Producer session, which is a whole different ballgame. Studio and network testing. I create a real setting where they audition all the time so people can see how audition works and how the producer make decision 5 minutes when they leave the room and how fast those decisions are made. And with the studio and network testing, we did the whole chemistry testing. We do the whole studio testing to show people what it's like. Did you know 90% of working actors in Hollywood never tested?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they don't even know what that is. Commercial versus theatrical. Last but not least, relationship. Some people think that networking is the key word. No, network is one. You want to go further? Relationship. Mm-hmm. Let's just say you and I hit it off and we have something in common. I say, hey, I'm going to come down to San Francisco. Come and stay at my place. Suddenly we have 2 or 3, and you came down here and you stayed at my place. Your family and I get along. Suddenly it's no longer networking, it's relationship. And suddenly one day you have your daughter, whoever it is, want to break in, you need help. Or you heard there's a role written for her that's so right. And you said, and she's the biggest headache of your life. But you have this.
I hope not.
No, but let's just say you have this thing. You say, hey, I can get you that audition. Then she listened. He said, you cannot get me that audition. What if I can? Will you start listening to me? I said, okay, go ahead. You pick up the phone. Hey, Chi, could you do me a favor? Can you give her an audition? Yeah, okay. What, it's going to take 5 minutes of my time? She might be right. Doesn't matter, but I'm doing for you. Not for her, for you. And what does it cost me? 5-10 minutes? Can I say no? 5 or 10 minutes? No.
Well, I think that speaks to your character, though. And
No, everybody's like that. No, don't get me wrong. Everyone's like that. That's why I'm saying to you when you said, hey, how do you navigate, right? Oh my God, if you're in psychology, if you figured out people's egos and how to take something private and put it out outside that privacy, suddenly become real. So the biggest egos are most insecure. And you'll find Steven Spielberg, James Cameron, they always work with the same team because you need that nurturing. You need people to be honest with you.
Support. Mm-hmm.
That's right. And if you understand how to play that. So sometimes when I hear my actors say, the producers told me they wrote me this good role for new show. I said, okay, And my job, my brilliant job, is like a mother. I nudge him to go, hey, tell her, let's see the script. And then when I got it, then I moved the agents to call the producer, say, hey, you really have something for blah, blah, blah? And then you trap. It's no longer me trying to sleep with you or whatever. No, now it's out in the open, because now if you say you know, you're going to be embarrassed with the person that you're with. And that's playing people's psychology. Okay, so that's the moving thing is like this.
And I think just from the psychological piece, that's similar to in any profession, right? And I think it's about genuine connection with people. Yes. And I think that's where this has led me, is that, you know, this started out as kind of a hobby or a way to give back. And it's led me to you, and it's led me to a whole bunch of people that I would never have talked to before, being in a room with one patient or, you know, a couple, even though I find that so valuable. I've worked with so many diverse people, but there's these different avenues of exploration. And if I call it working from a relationship based or a focus, how would you act if it's about relationships versus gain, monetary gain? It could be very similar, but there's also a nuance to it. So, I'm glad that you said that. I did want to ask though, how do you help your actors deal with rejection? Because that could be, like you said, very difficult for the ego when you're hearing no all the time, especially with maybe newer actors trying to break in.
That's one of the topic. Rejection is part of, what I give you is the big thing, and then the umbrella, that's one of it. Rejection, I told everybody, think of rejection as like a chronic disease. Learn to live with it, and it's no big deal. Okay, so so if you have a chronic disease, any chronic disease, you're going to find out what is it that, and how you're going to survive this. Same thing. So if you didn't get the job, find out why you didn't get the job, and be brave enough to know how to fix it. A lot of actors are terrified to know truth. They rather live in this illusion. Here's the thing. When my first job I got was a film. I was in school, and I wish I didn't get the job, but I did get the job. Well, before I got the job, I got the agent found me. I wanted to go to school, just want to concentrate in school. And so there's this movie called Gleam in the Cube with Christian Slater. And there's a nice supporting role of a stepbrother. I got the call back. They flew me first class to the director and all that, so forth and on. And they flew me back. And then me and my agent been playing phone tags for 2 days and all that. Agent told me, Chi, I thought you were very well prepared and you were very good, but I just don't buy that you've been around the block. That's what you come off on. You're not innocent enough. I said, oh, okay. I didn't want to hear anymore, right? I said, I'll call you later, okay? She said, okay, honey, you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. I hung up the phone. I walked 1, 2, and fainted on the street, and woke up 20 minutes later, and 30 people around me thought I was dead.
Oh my gosh.
Why? The rejection was so strong because it was my first time, got rejected from a part, and I didn't know how to handle it because again, those are the kind of thing a school need to teach. It's part of the business. And so 2 weeks later, a director called and they said, there's another part. If you can ride a motorcycle, you got the job. So of course I lied. I said, yeah, I don't ride a motorcycle. I got the job. But anyway, so the lesson to learn about that is eventually don't take anything personal. I challenge every actor, when you don't get a job, find out why. There's always a reason. and sometimes have nothing to do with your performance, have nothing to do with whatever. Is that the producer is having sex with that girl and it has nothing to do with you.
I mean, I'm laughing, but I mean that's part of it, right? Is that
yes,
for
like
anything in life?
Yes, like in Life in Threes. There's some part I already know who I want, but I'm gonna go ahead and play the game with the studio, with the network and all that, and do the dance. And then I'm gonna move you to that role. Or I will, it's the role I know which will be very important later. I downplay the role and say, it's a recurring, we don't need approval from studio network. So it just needs my approval. Yeah, it's a small role, don't worry about it. Just, And then that's, again, it's called playing politics. Understand the game and all that. And you can, because more than the people who are the suit people. Everybody wants what they say, but do they know what they're saying? No. Most people, even me, when we have a role we want to cast in, you think you know what you want, but do you really know what you want? Until somebody can walk in and blow you away. You go like, I never saw that character as a small guy. I saw him as a big Italian guy. That's what happened to Taxi. It was written by for an Italian, big, obnoxious Italian dispatcher. Danny DeVito walked in and did the audition, slamming down the script and saying, "Who wrote this shit? This is great." And they said, "Oh my God, we found out Louis." They never thought Louis is that size. And he got the job.
So, I mean, this is amazing content. Where can people sign up? Where can people learn more about it and just learn about your knowledge?
So go to website masteringthebusinessofacting.com. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, YouTube, and all that. And, click onto that masteringthebusiness.com or go Google masteringthebusinessofacting.com, and it will go to our website. And the first page is a long thing, and it will, if you just get time to, it will grab you. And then it's $199. You get the whole essential series. So every year things changes, like COVID. It's changed everything. So every year something going to change. The industry change all the time. So I'm going to include 7 to 10 segments every year, plus 3 hours of Q&A with God knows how many questions. And then we're going to tape it. We're going to put it on there. So you can pay another $100 and you will buy the whole lifetime. You never have to pay another dime. So you get a lifetime. I just don't want to cheat kids out of this. But if you don't do the lifetime, then every year you just pay $49 for that year. But if you do the lifetime, it's $299. That's it. And we're going to keep this thing on forever, because eventually I'm not going to be, 10 years from now, somebody else is going to be talking about it. But our hope is to get the college in September, 3 colleges, to put this into the curriculum. And then, look, once it's out there that you have to teach people the business, I don't think you can go back. Okay. I don't think people are going to go ahead and, So like on Instagram, we noticed that 13 to 17 are our biggest demographic. So we tell them to say, encourage them. We did an advertising for them to say, hey, show this to your mom, show it to your dad.
Yeah.
And
because they have the credit cards. Yeah.
But more important, as a parent, you might want to know, the kid won't listen to you until you know what you're talking about. And you might want to watch it with them. Hey, this is not, here's 2 things going to happen. If you're on the fence, after watching this thing, you won't be. Either you're in or you're out. But if you really want this, I'm going to save you 2 to 3 years.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's really, really worth it. Again, masteringthebusinessofacting.com. And please, when you're on Facebook and Instagram, follow us. be a follower. Anyway.
Well, Lastly, I was wondering if you could provide some message or inspiration to the Asian American community, especially those aspiring to be in the business, but also really getting into media more because there's been so many hate crimes that have been increasing around the world.
When I came into Hollywood, we fought Miss Saigon, and we lost. But we call it lost the battle, but eventually we're going to win the war. And I always complained at that time. I was trying to get Asians to vote. Okay, that was the whole big thing on. And the older generation doesn't, and they were voting for Republican or whatever it is. But eventually, the nice thing about being Asian is we pretty have it good in a way, but the problem, like I'm rare. I'm one of those Asian that people say, okay, what is wrong with that guy? Why is that guy so obnoxious, so loud, and so whatever?
Oh, it's okay. You have another one joining you because
there we go. You know what I'm saying? But we need people like us. So what happened is you guys speak up. You got to, I'm disturbed. Sometimes I watch on TV and I'm going to like say, excuse me, why are you hitting women? Why are you hitting old people? Come at me. Come at me. It's just so stupid. You're like beating up old people and women and punching them and all that for what? So I think they have to do with this Trump era, that the whole COVID thing and all that, and people, sometimes there's a lot of people who die. We have to admit, and somehow they try to put the blame, have nothing to do with us, So I say that we need to start supporting each other. Stop being the best friend for a white person. I don't mean to be whatever. I always find that white people don't find Asian threatened. I even wrote in my Life in Three, in a joking way, a very powerful message about Black young men getting killed by pulling over. So, and this character is married to a Black lady, married to a Caucasian man, and have a 9-year-old kid. And they're joking around because she's going to take care of the kid, and he's going to go to a protest for 2016. And he said, is any Asian going to be there? And she said, of course Asian going to be there. We protest against the rights. He said, why? The cop don't ever bother Asians because, I have this friend, Robert Wu. He said he is the worst driver who ever lived. And he would stop in the middle of the street, and the cop would signal and tell him to pull over. And he pull over, and then the cop didn't even get out of the car. He pulled up to him and say, yo, sir, you stop in the middle of the street. What the hell are you doing? I could give you a ticket for this. And Robert would say, oh, I'm so sorry. And the next thing he said, you just parked in the red zone. I could give you a big ticket for this. Oh, I'm so sorry. Go. And they get away with it, and they just go. So, and that story is true story. That's me, the worst driver of all drivers. I'm a walking stereotype, okay? They would not give me a ticket. I don't know. I put on the charm, I put on whatever it is, but they don't see me as a threat, which is fine. But we change a lot of things. I mean, in my time, we were trying to change men to be more sexual, okay? And we succeeded at, and more and more. And now we have to be smart about come together. You have to be a family, a united family before you fight outsiders. So I don't care if you're Vietnamese, Chinese, we're Asians, Asian American, which is very important. And this is our country. So we have to join together, and we need to support each other. We need to support each other in a loud way, but that's what Asians need to be. So the more, I hope that, Vanishing Son opened a lot of doors, and a lot of kids when they came into the acting business. Now this thing, I am giving people a roadmap that, hey, if you really like doing this, which there is a lot of Asian who does, there may be 10, it may be only 20%, but 20% is pretty good, We don't need more competitor, do we, Stephanie?
Well, the thing about Vanishing Son, I rewatched the epic fight between you and Russell, and it's exactly what we're talking about. It's so relevant now, where he's saying, let's keep fighting the system. And you're like, I'm done with this. I'm just going to do whatever it takes to succeed. And so it was so powerful then, and it's so powerful now, because the message and the conflict that happens, especially within our communities, is pretty much parallel to that fight that you guys had.
Yeah, and I think sometime you need to, and I have it too, and I learned to let it go 10 years ago. Stop competing with each other, and if one of us succeed, be very happy. I think that like James Hong, an old friend of mine's. Again, I'm looking to I look at the people who are trying to get him to star before it's too late, and I'm going like, really, guys? I give you the money, and we have the money, and you guys don't have the power to make this thing happen. So if I had a little chance, I'm going to push that thing through. Because sometimes these Asians in Hollywood, they're so timid, and sometimes I have to tell them, saying, hey, if you say yes to everything, that's all they're going to give you. Mm-hmm. No, it's a very powerful thing. There's no reason, Stephanie, no reason. I'm not going to name somebody who have done tons and tons at one time, considered to be for 5 years the most working actor in Hollywood, an Asian actor now. There's no reason in my second years in Hollywood I make the same amount of money as he does on a guest starring show. And then because of the scheduling, at the end of the day, he worked one day and I work for 2 weeks. I made more money. There's no reason. Why? What's the problem? Is he doesn't know when to say no. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason.
And that's powerful. The power of no.
No. Yes.
It's a boundary. They're boundaries, and to stick with those boundaries, again, being uncomfortable with the pushback, but knowing that it's consistent with your values and what you deserve, really.
You know why I didn't get that first job? It took me 6 months to figure out what the problem was. My agent talked to the casting director. You know what it was? It was so fucking crazy. It's laughable. It's in Master Business of Acting. Okay, when we were growing up, they are telling us what is beautiful. Okay, white people are beautiful. So, okay, you see my full lips? Mm-hmm. It's beautiful. But when I was growing up, I want to be white, and I hang around with all African American people. Okay, I thin my lips, so I talk like this.
Oh my!
To high school, I talk like this. Hey, yes, Chi, can I go to the bathroom? So anyway, this is how I talk. Okay, and how I think this was beautiful. What's so beautiful about this?
I mean, I'm laughing, and at the same time, this is what a lot of Asian Americans go through, though. They see these standards and they try to fit into this. I mean, we're talking, not only TV and print, but like the dolls that are sold to people. I think like 5 years ago, I was trying to find an Asian American doll that, didn't have the straight bangs, and not to say that that's bad, but it's just, it didn't look like the kids that I grew up around, that, my kids are growing up around. And so it's everywhere. And that, that way that you were talking pretty much depicts how people are trying to lighten their skin or, straighten their hair a certain way. It's really tough. And I think people need to know that.
Yeah. And it has to be people like in my position, your position, promoting that. I mean, in the old days, why does African American have to say the line, "Black is beautiful"? I mean, Black is beautiful. Why? But why need you say it? Why does gay people have to say pride? Why? So why does Asian, what is our thing? Women are not hookers and men are not are not sexual. Mm-hmm. I mean, all those things are, so eventually, hopefully 10, 20 years, those things will go away, and they only go away if now I take responsibility. When I create a movie like Catfish and Black Bean Sauce, I do it very subtly and hit it where, everybody can relate to it while I get my balanced message across, and that's how you do it. You doing what you're doing right now. I'm doing what I'm doing right now. I mean, here's the thing. People are going to be so, the sales are doing really well, by the way. But people at first can go very shocked saying, an Asian guy is an expert in this. And then, when people actually watch it and saying, oh my God, he knows stuff that I don't know. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you right now, I have more knowledge about the nuances because I am a producer, director, actor, writer, a manager. I know everybody's thinking. And if you're just an agent, you can't compete with me. I'm ready, outsmart
all around player.
But people are not used to an agent able to have that authority talking about this subject, because don't forget, in the old days, they don't think Asians are funny, which is true. And Asians are not talented, which is true. And the reason why? How could you be if you never have opportunity? And more important, you never take it seriously or study. You can't.
Mm-hmm. Or even encourage that's a career for Asian Americans to be in, right? Because you said your siblings went into traditional roles or stereotypical roles. And we're probably talking about accounting, medical doctors, et cetera, et cetera. But, I think it's important for the younger generation to know that this is a viable career if you want to do it.
If you want to do it, mm-hmm. This for everybody. I'm going to say this very loud. This is one of the most stupid, crazy, BS career. If you can do something else, do something else. Only crazies and people who just can't do anything else and who just love it. I mean, you can tell after 30 years, there's passion in this guy's voice. He's not even acting. He's talking about his subject. You want to see more passion? Go watch his 7 episode. It's passion. What is that? Oh, that's his DNA. That's all he knows. I don't know anything. I don't know how to use a Zoom. My assistant set it up. I don't even know how to I'm the worst driver of all drivers. I don't know how to change oil. Everybody's in care of that for me. I don't know about a lot of things, but this is what I'm good at. And I will own it. And I have no bash about it. I mean, it's very un-Chinese. My mom would say, can you be a little bit humble? I said, Mom, I'm humble about everything. I don't know how to cook. I don't know how to blah, 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 blah. I don't know how to whatever. But this is one area I know. And I know. So I'm going to give myself, okay, you can be un-Chinese about this. Be American about it. But remind everybody else, I'm not that bright.
Well, we are very similar in that I can't cook a lick. So, and I kind of refuse to do it too, because I don't want to eat shit and spend all that time on it. So my husband actually is the cook in the house. But, I think what we're talking about though, is not fitting into boxes, not giving into, being timid. And actually, if we know something, that we should tell it and people can hear us because we have the experience and knowledge.
I've been hiding out for 15 years. I've done all these jobs and do not want to take credit for it and keep myself because I want to protect my artistic Chi Muoi Lo, the actor's name and all that. Now I'm going to say, you know what? It's time to let people know. And I think people will be like, okay, he knows his shit. And we need more of that stuff. And I think in 10 years, I think we don't have these issues. matters. I really don't.
I hope so. That's a very hopeful message. And, thank you so much for taking your time to be on our show, because it means so much to me and it means so much to the listeners and the audience. And obviously, what's most important is my mom was just so thrilled, and she watched Vanishing Son on whatever YouTube video she could find to just remind her again of how much we love the show. And that meant so much to so many. And what you're doing now is amazing, to be able to give back and share your knowledge with so many people. So thank you so much.
She's going to love life in threes. She's going to love life in threes.
Thank you very much. For sure. Thank you so much for listening to the Color Success Podcast. Listen, like, subscribe on all major streaming platforms, YouTube, IG, and if you want exclusive content, you can join our Patreon. All links can be found at colorofsuccesspodcast.com.